I'm going to be going over the losing trade I took today. So let's just get straight in. I'm going to start off on the hard time frame. So you can see here, hard time frame, what are we doing? Well, on the daily, we have this big daily gap that we displaced into yesterday, and we held it very well. You can see here, we wicked the CE not only on the previous day's candle, but also on the current day's candle overnight session. We wicked the CE, and we're trading higher. If I go to the 4-hour, not really anything to see. I hate that trading view always just like changes the time every single time I change the time frame, but it's whatever. So 4-hour, you can see a little bit better bullish structure. We have all-time highs right above. We have kind of like this stacked buy-side liquidity leading into all-time highs, and we're also trading into this more discounted 4-hour gap of this distribution leg right here, distributing out of this daily gap, right? So that's really nice to see that we have done our high time frame manipulation. So all I'm looking for at market open is for us to get some sort of move down at 9:30, put in that bottom wick of the 30-minute candle, and then get a move up towards all-time highs or whatever was in here. So hourly, not much to see here anyway, just kind of like disrespecting this leg, displacing out of the 4-hour. I don't want it to be like all messed up, yeah, here. So if I go to the 1-minute at 8:30, we did have news at 8:30 right here, so we had a data wick up there. We also have the low of day sitting inside that 4-hour right here. So we're kind of just trading in between this range pre-market. All I wanted to see was NQ kind of just create this 30-minute imbalance above and make some sort of move down, sweep this out. We also had a 15-minute that we formed right here. You can see pre-market, we formed that 15-minute and then we moved down. So I was going to use that as a condition for higher. So yeah, I also want to take a look at ES at this time. So if I go to ES, you can see here that very bullish, right? We have equal highs or relative equal highs at the all-time high. We still have that data wick that was resting in here. And at the same time, ES did not displace into the more discounted 4-hour gap yet, right? So we had the 4-hour gap down here. We had 1 in the range for ES, 2 in the range for NQ. So if I don't want to like mess up the whole replay, but you get the point, right? ES had not traded in this more discounted 4-hour yet, and this is really useful later on for my reasoning on why I took the trade. So overall, coming into the open, bias was bullish, had a lot of really stacked buy-side draws above. We also had, if I zoom out, we had LRL leading to all-time highs, which was just like the cherry on top, and kind of just giving me conviction in my trade later for where I put my break-even spot. Okay, so market opens up, and we start getting death candles down. So 9:30 opens up. We accumulate before 9:30. 9:30 opens up. We sweep out. And pretty much all I'm looking for is for either this 15-minute hold, and I really did not want to see us leave this low down here, purely because if you look at ES at the time, ES had made equal lows. We were around here at the same time, and this candle was right here. So you can see here that ES had made relative equal lows with this 4-hour intermediate low on NQ. So I was not willing to long, like, if we came up and got like an inversion here, I was not willing to long any higher because there's a reason for price to target my stop loss lower, just because ES made those relative equal lows at that significant low. Let's back into it. Price just kind of puts in this little swing high right here, and then we move down. We end up sweeping out this 4-hour intermediate low, and at this point I was like, okay, you know, we just created this 1-minute gap. If we just flip past this 1-minute gap, then I'm taking long, right? But it was like a few more minutes until wherever opened, and we got a 5-minute up here, so I was just kind of waiting. And also ES was displacing significantly below this low and going towards this unmitigated 4-hour. If I move into ES right here, so you can see the Asia low was an unmitigated 4-hour for ES, and 936 we were sitting right here, so we were about 2.75 points on ES away from the unmitigated for value gap. So my idea was I don't really want to long off this gap right here because I know that ES has a reason to go down and kind of just rip through my stop loss, stop raid me, and then end up moving hard towards my draws. So I just wanted ES to kind of hit this low and then look for my long after that. So what happens here is played out a little bit more. You can see here that it is the 938 candle, 940 for ES, 938 right here. ES comes down at 940, takes out this Asia low, mitigates that unmitigated 4-hour gap, and look at the reaction we get. We're wicking the sell side and we're closing bodies at the buy side, which is just a amazing kind of signal if you want to see an order flow flip, bullish to bearish, bearish to bullish. That's kind of what you want to see. You want to see these big wicks. We're wicking away from the significant sell side and we're closing bodies towards the significant buy side in this scenario. So at this point here, what do we have, right? So if I turn on my session tool, we had a fat SMT at the Asia low, which was also an intermediate low, just gave me a little bit more conviction, especially because Asia low was a key level. That's just giving me a stronger level of stop loss, right? So my stop loss is extremely protected. So we're starting to move up now, right? We've wicked the sell side and we're closing bodies at the buy side. We have my gap right here and we have a 5-minute opened up above, right? So we have a 5-minute right here. So all I wanted to see was for this 1 minute to inverse, as long as we did not mitigate this 5-minute upon inversing this 1 minute, then I was willing to long and kind of have a more discretionary break even at the 30-minute, because if we look at, I'll just explain it later. I don't know why so we can see here, we get that 1 minute inversion. Beautiful. We disrespect this entire bearish leg in 3 candles. That's what you want to see. Then again, wicking, closing the bodies. I put my stop below the body and I ran my take profit just at 1-to-1 because there was so many buy side draws above, but I'm just trying to get my piece of the pie and get out of the market. I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to force anything that is going to add kind of more risk onto my trade, kind of less probability that it will hit full take profit. So you see right here, and I put the stop loss at the body for a few reasons. Reason number one was because of the placement we're getting. If prices started ripping bearish, then I don't want to hold the extra points of the swing low and lose more money than I have to, or lose more R than I have to. And also because we have this 1 minute gap we created right here. So my scenario was if price starts moving down, I don't want to see it trade past this 1 minute gap. And if I see trade past this 1 minute gap, then I want to be out of the trade by here, right? Because if we run all the way down here past this 1 minute gap, then the trade is just done. It's done. It's not hitting take profit. My idea was wrong, and that's kind of what happened in this scenario. So you can see over here, I entered in the trade, and I got stopped out pretty fast. Pretty unfortunate. I'm very confident in this trade. I would take it 10 out of 10 times. I'm not gonna lie. But the reason I did not go break even at this 5 minute, right? Okay, so what is the 5 minute defending, right? The 5 minute is defending another imbalance, but that's not significant because the 5 minute is defending low resistance draws, right? Low resistance draw being this data high, low resistance draw being this equal high London high, low resistance draw being the all-time high, and we also have low resistance liquidity leading towards those equal highs at London high. So I figured that we should just rip straight through this 5 minute and mitigate this 30-minute above, right? Right here, mitigate this 30-minute gap right here. And so the idea was price would just kind of close in the 5 minute strongly because of how bullish we are. And then I would go break even at this 30-minute gap right here because I'm anticipating after the 30-minute gap to be mitigated that we rebalance this big bullish leg that we created to then move higher and hit those all-time highs, taking out those equal highs on ES all-time high, and then kind of just ripping through all the draws higher, right? You can see that is not what happened at all. We just mitigate the 5 minute, we wick it, and then we just go down. I still would not go break even at this 5 minute. I don't really care that the trade ended up failing. I do not think that's the reason the trade failed. I think it's failed just because poor delivery. I hate to blame PA, but if I play out the rest of the day, you can just see here that we just kind of chop around, and then later in the AM session, we end up making a move higher towards the all-time high, and lunch session, we're actually at the all-time high right now. So we end up taking all the buy side. So honestly, not really mad about that today. I'll take this trade again. I saw a lot of people take this trade and lose. I know a few people who took this trade and lose. It's all good, right? But all that matters was my idea was correct today. We did end up taking up all the draws above. We did just go for kind of like this remanipulation play on this 4-hour low, which was very low probability to happen in my opinion. I'm really surprised it did happen, but it's what happened, right? So all I can do is move on to the next day. I'll be back tomorrow, ready to perform to the best of my abilities, and I'm really not mad at this, so it's all good.